I suppose the question to ask would be, why do you think that he decided to choose Terminus?
It's a big map. It's very open for Bio only if he wants to play against it. There's a lot of flank attacks, a lot of maneuvers for the Bio to get position on tanks rather than tanks being filtered and Bio being equally filtered around.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you Evil Genius's DeMusliM. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Terran to the east of the Terminus versus his opponent, Slayer's Ryung. He is in the red trunks, and he is playing Terran to the south.
And can DeMusliM do it? Can he do it? Can he keep up with Koreans? I don't know, because he's done well in international events, but he hasn't done amazingly well. To think about it, I think DeMusliM finished top 32 at IPL4, actually not even losing to a Korean, actually lost versus Rhett back then. And within MLG, he's done okay, but he hasn't done anything amazing. He's finished really high. I think it was like top 8 one time at an MLG, which is really good, especially for DeMuslim's injuries he had for a lot of this year. And it's good to see him finally back on top and playing so well. And personally, I'm actually extremely excited for DeMusliM to play in Korea, because I think it'll benefit him more than anybody else on Team EG.
Yeah, it would also benefit if he stopped breaking every bone in his body. That's usually a good start. A little bit difficult to play esports if you don't have any functional arms, but DeMusliM has done extremely well for someone that keeps doing that. He's incredibly
breaking his arms.
Yes, he's incredibly talented for someone who keeps breaking his arms. It's as simple as that. He's very successful in that regard.
And here we go again. No gas been taken by DeMusliM, so we are going to be seeing this one barracks into expansion here from DeMusliM, playing this bio-only style. On the reason why, I mean, there's all this talk about mech versus bio, which is better. I think on good big maps, bio will always be better. But on the smaller maps, like we're seeing on Shatter Temple, mech is a little bit stronger. Just adding a few tanks in there does make a world of difference through these filters areas. A prime example would be Zalnaga Caverns. You cannot play bio there. You literally can't. And on a big map like Terminus, I mean, bio is going to be a lot more viable because of all the runarounds, all the areas you can get into. You can, all of a sudden, 4-tank siege up. All his Marines are at the front. On this map, you can run behind and snipe all the tanks immediately and get into better positions. You can drop a lot as well.
Yeah, you can.
And I expect DeMusliM to really focus heavily on this.
That would sound like a reasonably decent strategy, honestly. And when you think about tanks, you've got to think about the fact that they are about area control. They're very much an area control unit. And the larger the area of the map, the less effective those units are going to be, the more tanks you actually do need to cover it. There are times when mech is useful on this map. Usually once it gets to around the 4th base, once you're taking a base around here, tanks do become more necessary. If it stays on around 3 base, then yeah, definitely very drop heavy, very mobile in terms of Marine Marauder, Medivac, things like that, primarily Marine.
Both gases now taken here over for Ryung. He did go a gasless expansion. DeMusliM did go for a fast expansion, but with his trademark 15 gas, a little bit later than usual, just so he can get it up nice and fast. And DeMuslim's a person that does like to get it up nice and fast, I can tell you that.
Oh, really?
Meanwhile, the factory is down with the reactor on the barracks also, and he will be wanting to go for a few Marines first of all. Possibly can switch it up for some Hellions like previously. He may even want to put down a starport to potentially drop Marine and Hellions. It's very good against this gasless expansion style.
Yes, it would. And if we look at the current state for DeMusliM, he's only taking the single gas, producing from that single barracks and the factory coming up here as well. And a little push, a little bit of pressure right here from Slayer's Ryung. It's not going to be enough. The SCV easily annihilated there by DeMusliM, and it's going to be sent all the way back to his base, packing for the time being.
That was actually kind of funny. Those Marines were like, go ahead, SCV, go to your death. And then they went home. It wasn't very nice, but at the same time, the command center is now finished for Ryung. It's not on the lower ground yet, like DeMusliM. So even though it was a little bit faster than DeMuslim's, it's kind of equal because DeMuslim's is on the lower ground. He can get the saturation better on his main faster. Yep. And there is that starport going down for DeMusliM. So I suspect we are going to see some Medivac Marine drops potentially here. Very good to do against the very little unit count so far that we have here from Ryung. And looking at Ryung, he's actually gone for a starport here with a factory in Tech Lab. I think he's going to go for like a funky, okay, he's going to go Blue Flame Hellions. I was going to say he's going for a funky Banshee, but no, it's actually going to be Blue Flame Hellions. And with a starport too, he's going to be able to drop them into the main. And once again, on this map, very similar to the previous one, main to natural, very close for dropping distances here.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting choice. A few months ago, people would not have said that was an interesting choice. That would have been a foregone conclusion. It's a Slayers player, and oh, look, it's a Blue Flame Hellion. No one is surprised by this. But since the change to Blue Flame, it has very much fallen out of favor in almost every matchup. It is still used, but it's nowhere near as popular. So I'm intrigued to see if this actually ends up working for him.
And he's building a single Viking, first of all, because he actually, I'm looking at Ryung's vision, and he did see the starport too. So he's expecting a medivac to come out. The single Viking should be able to stop it. And he's actually building 2, and then he'll be able to switch up into a medivac of his own. Once he has air control dominance, we'll be able to drop into the main of the Muslims. And I feel for the SUVs, because they are going to not face a happy ending in this game. But there is that drop by the Muslim. Actually, could get the Viking, but Hellions and Marines come to help out.
Yeah, well, he didn't lose the medivac, I suppose, is the main thing. I mean, Muslim trying to get an engagement right here. He's going to have to have a very good spread in order to do this. Blue Flame is almost complete. The reinforcing Hellions from the Muslim coming in as well, looking to try and attack the mineral line, which is now in denying mining completely. A nice bit of aggression here by the Muslim.
And these 3 Hellions and Vikings SUVs will be able to clean this up. I hope here they should be able to with the Blue Flame. I really think they should do. And he should be able to lift up the Vikings also to go ahead and snipe off that medivac also. And then Ryung can return to mining. Yeah,
DeMuslim's probably going to get away with that medivac. Honestly, the Viking is going in the wrong direction. Unfortunate that he
should cut right. Is it going to cut right? Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there we go. There's the interception. A nice placement of the supply depot actually spots that coming through, and down it goes. Ryung just makes no mistakes. It is insane just to watch that happen.
But now he's got that air control. Here comes the medivac, and we're going to see that drop into the main base, and there is nothing there to stop this right now. The one bad thing for Ryung that went wrong in this game is that the Blue Flame was revealed earlier than he wanted it to be. But at the same time, I don't think it matters that much because there are so many SUVs on that main base, and if he does decide to drop it, that could be lights out for DeMuslim's SUV line. Meanwhile, he's quite well defended on the natural, so maybe he should think about actually even just... Maybe I should worry about my main base since my natural's okay. We'll have to see, does he do it?
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty damn good idea at this point. Air control fully in favor right now of Slayers Ryung. That is a dropship full of doom coming in the direction of a missile turrets, a sensor, actually sensor tower, never mind, looked like a missile turret, sensor tower coming down there. That's going to at least be spotted before that, and immediately the Muslim pulls off of that line, but he's getting filtered through his own base here. This could be potentially disastrous. Thankfully, he brings in a few Marines and a Marauder in order to deal with that, and the Blue Flame Hellion drop hasn't done a huge amount yet.
Yeah, that was really good from DeMusliM, really reacting fast there. He would have lost everything, but he moved everything just in time. And the third base now has been taken for both players, or just being built, sorry, should I say. And let's have a look now in Ryung's base. Double factory, so we're actually seeing pure mech this time rather than the bio that we have seen and would have preferred to see. But this pure mech is going to be interesting to see. Can it beat DeMuslim's pure, well, not really pure, but bio mech? So mech versus bio mech. And I don't know, it really has to work on the upgrades for these Marines. They currently don't even have combat shields, I don't think. So that's a bit of a mistake here, and it is in actually the queue to get researched. There it is. And a second factory coming down, and more barracks being added on here for DeMusliM.
Yeah, DeMusliM actually placing this command center just a little bit farther away, but so he can actually get some sort of medium distance mining going on as he turns out to an orbital. We do have the drop coming in at 3 Blue Flame Hellions go for that. The mineral line is not exactly juicy. There's not too many units on it, but it's still freebies if he can actually get the shots off, which it looks like he can. A Stim Marauder doesn't have the damage against light units to stop that. A couple of tanks might, however, and can he get that one? No, he can't. He's getting out of there. Only a single Hellion lost and a small amount of damage done by Ryung. 6 workers killed total across this game, but that does put Ryung ahead in terms of worker count.
Yeah, very nice. Now we do have the combat shields about to finish, porcelain armor also, and I'm getting a little bit worried because DeMuslim's not really harassing at all. And when you're going for this kind of style, the mech army's never going to be the strongest until it's pretty much maxed out. 180 supply is when you should start to push out. And right now, the way that this map is kind of built is that the third base of Ryung is very easily taken if it needs to be harassed. The fourth base is the key thing. When the fourth base is taken for Ryung, he will be immediately 200 supply, and then DeMuslim's going to have the hardest time in the world fighting against Ryung's well-built-up army. So right now, with the sensor tower, it does make things more difficult, but he should try to drop into the main, onto the third base, to try to slow down Ryung who's actually got the upper hand once again with this drop.
Yep. Blue Flame Hellion just got shut down by a single Marauder. They had no HP left. They weren't repaired, so he really didn't do an awful lot. Killed a couple of SCVs, if that. And DeMusliM now trying to set up a nice and hard contain, but he can't go in there. There are too many tanks on that choke point. He's going to have to think of something else. At the moment, what would...
Sorry, I was drinking water.
Not a problem. It's okay.
Worst timing ever.
Oh, it's all good. It's not a problem. DeMuslim's going to just try and hop forward. He's inside sensor tower. Actually, the number of sensor towers deployed in this game is surprisingly high. 3 out, 2 for Ryung. That's obviously a thing that they're doing quite a lot more lately. And this air control is going to be the real problem for DeMusliM because he doesn't have any. And Ryung's going to get the sight range.
Yeah, very smart from DeMusliM. Throws down double starports, and I think he's going to try and catch up with the Viking lead because look at this. That's the problem. He doesn't have the Viking, doesn't have the sight range.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Ryung actually throws down double command centers in his main base. Will be expanding to do 2 different locations at the same time, and that could be a problem there for DeMusliM, especially if he doesn't understand about it. Meanwhile, DeMusliM taking the 4th base of his own, and he is starting to produce multiple Vikings now from 3 different starports. He has to get that higher than it currently is.
Ryung's building high-sec auto tracking. Yeah, that's a wonderful upgrade. I like to build that. But whatever the case, that's a good idea, considering he wants to try and deal with drops as much as possible. Here's the thing. That army from DeMusliM right now, I think, honestly, Ryung could just go for it. He would lose quite a bit, but he could clean this up completely. He just wants to get the best possible position, though. But the longer he waits, the more DeMuslim's going to be able to reinforce that position and make it much harder to break out.
And very smartly from DeMusliM, trying to set up this contain while taking 4th and 5th at the same time. But he doesn't know anything about expanding to the left-hand side, picking up and leaving the base. And let's have a look at the Viking count. Is DeMusliM getting to where he wants to be? No. 7 Vikings for Ryung, 4 for DeMusliM, but 4 in the making. So he is going to get the Viking lead very, very shortly. And once the Viking lead has been established, oh, hold that thought, because Ryung's going to go for it.
He actually charges in with the Blue Flame Hellions right there, taking huge damage. Massive rain of fire comes down from that. However, what was in front of those tanks is evaporated, and Ryung does have the tank advantage. Reinforcements streaming in for DeMusliM. He's got to be extremely careful with his positioning right there. Medevac instantly sniped off by Ryung. And now trying... Oh, no. That was not what you do in that situation.
Let me look. What was that about? Was that a hotkey mess up with Vikings or something? Because that was not intended. And Ryung knows. Oh, DeMuslim's just thrown that game away, trying to set up a contain, which he suicided. Oh my god! Didn't even stim. Just walked in, was like, all right, Ryung, take it. Oh, no.
It was either like the equivalent of a TBT fruit basket being given as a donation to Ryung, or it was simply a mistake, which can happen. And we have been a little bit concerned about DeMuslim's sort of lack of practice over the past few weeks. And I think it's starting to show, unfortunately.
Oh, no. That's not how that was meant to plan out, because now the 4th base has been taken for Ryung. Double refineries immediately. Look at the supply difference. When you're playing against pure mech, that cannot be this way. The numbers have to be reverted. You cannot be fighting with a lesser army supply. And even, the tank doesn't manage to survive. But now, 4th base established. 5th base going to be established very, very shortly for Ryung here. And DeMusliM, what a big hit that was, which could have cost him the game.
It could potentially, yeah. Ryung is now maxed in terms of supply. His word count is extremely large. So if DeMusliM can actually catch up, he will have the larger army. 97 SCVs is, in my opinion, excessive. I have a feeling he might start to throw a few of those away once he's completely mined. In fact, it's almost mined out here as well. So it wouldn't surprise me. But he does have very much a defensive advantage. He can have a smaller army as long as he's got the position.
And we do have 3 Hellions at the north, killing a single mule here and a single SUV. Not doing too much there, and they will get cleaned up. But losing that position, I cannot stress how important that was not to lose actually there.
Yeah.
And I said before, as soon as that 4th base in the center of the map is established, Ryung's at 200 supply easy. He's working on +3 now, adding on Thors to actually start tanking damage. What I'm actually really surprised that we haven't seen any. Oh, look at that. Okay, we do have the fusion core. I was going to say, surprised that we haven't seen DeMusliM try to get the Viking lead, then switch over to Banshees. Well, Banshees to begin with, because BCs is so expensive because he can't really afford them.
Yeah.
But he's going to try to afford them now. Blue Flame Hellions on this base, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do too much damage here as they do get cleaned up. But look at Ryung's tanks and their positional here.
That is really unpleasant. DeMusliM losing tanks left, right, and center here. The transition through to air, which of course very much the late game strategy is the way to go. This Hellion is having real fun over here. He's taking out a mule, another mule. You can just see the kill count going on there. And DeMusliM, if he's not careful, is going to end up losing the air advantage. High-sec auto tracking being used with forward missile turrets, and it will be the battlecruiser transition right there for DeMusliM, which is the way to break mech, but only if you can get the numbers for it.
DeMusliM just has to hold. If he can hold until getting maybe 3 battlecruisers out, maybe there's a shot that he could pull this game back. But at the same time, Ryung's not going to allow him to just have that time. That single Hellion at North killed about 9 SCVs at the North base. Ryung pressuring. No way is he going to let DeMusliM sit back with minimal units while trying to tech up to something. Attack moving with these tanks. And this is going to be so tough. Ryung is controlling the left-hand side of the map beautifully right now. And the BCs are in the way, but Thors are coming. A nuke is about to finish as well. And it was all about that one move, that one suicidal move from DeMusliM cost in this game.
Yeah, that's what did it, and I would like to see DeMusliM come back from this, but it is going to be extremely difficult to do so. Now being denied mining from here, and of course, if you're going to be building double battlecruisers, you better damn well have the economy to support that. Those are expensive. A single battlecruiser costs as much as a command center, and that's not even taking into account the amount of gas that is required for that. It is not a pleasant idea.
And it has been scanned too, and it knows
Nuclear
exactly.
launch detected somewhere.
I don't even know where that is, I'm sorry.
We're going to have to...
it's into the main base, so it's just going to hurt the production facilities. Won't really do that much damage.
No.
But at the same time, I mean, it kills the tech labs, but it's not doing that much, to be honest.
No, that was more of a show-off nuke, I think, than anything else, or just to catch reinforcements fast moving in there. But the thing is, he's actually building a lot of nukes now, and he's going 5 starports to back this up. Cloaking coming in right here for the Ghosts as well.
Yeah, he's literally just going to overmass with Vikings and destroy the Vikings and battlecruisers of DeMuslims now. And 4 tanks donated to DeMusliM in the center of the map, actually. It does die immediately. Just getting rid of some supply because he actually is over-producing tanks right now. Wants to free some up so he can start giving or allowing himself to actually build the Vikings. And there are all the starports on the 3rd base from Ryung.
I feel that DeMusliM has a window now to actually go and strike. I don't think he's got Yamato Cannon, which is unfortunate. If he'd gotten that, that would have helped out. But he's going to have 6 battlecruisers very, very shortly. And he's also got a reasonably sized ground army. He's almost maxed out. He could do damage potentially here. There aren't enough missile turrets. Thors are pretty rubbish against battlecruisers. Admittedly, there are 6 of them. The Vikings are going to get torn to shreds. There's still a chance for DeMusliM. It's just quite a slim one at the moment.
And a Ghost is on the way to nuke the North base here for Ryung. SCVs did see it and thought about trying to fight the Ghost and then thought, oh wait, the Ghost can actually fire, and did decide to turn around. The Ghost not really doing anything to the rocks, but here comes the cloak, here comes the nuke, and is going to slow down the gas income for DeMusliM. Very important while trying to go battle cruisers here, of course, and won't really be able to achieve much here. Oh, is he going to do that?
No.
Oh my God, he's going to do it.
Oh no! Oh!
He doesn't see the red dot because it was on the command center, and now we have Ryung pushing through with all these Thors, but he has to be careful. These battlecruisers are pretty good against Thors.
Yeah, they're not bad, and Thors are absolutely terrible against battlecruisers right now, and there we go, smashing through. The battlecruisers do remain up. I believe there's another nuke going down right there on the natural, doing some damage to the production as well. The BCs moving forward. There's no real answer to those BCs yet.
That killed a lot of SCVs, by the way. 47 SCVs killed in this game. I suspect there was at least 30 SCVs there. And another nuke onto the 3rd base of DeMusliM. DeMusliM cannot find all these nukes everywhere. And oh no. Oh no.
Ah, it's too late.
Oh no.
Oh, this
DeMusliM.
This is a holocaust going on right here. This is an absolute massacre.
He's down to 36 SCVs. He's so low. And the Viking count now is currently at 16. They don't have any upgrades though. The battlecruisers do have +1, and DeMusliM is working on the +1 ship plating too. But at the same time, 1-1 is on its way for Ryung also. So DeMusliM still has a shot, but he has to keep up this Viking battlecruiser lead. The problem is his economy is broken down. Ryung is mining gases from these left-hand side bases, which actually DeMusliM has no idea about. So the gas is heavily favored for Ryung here.
Yeah, the problem is once you get this many Vikings, it's far too easy just to kite. He's even going to have an engagement under a nuclear missile. No, that's not going to be caught out this time. But the Viking count is too large, even with Thor support as well. The battlecruisers can't handle firepower of that magnitude, as you can see. He's driving the way. Honestly, Ryung did actually just throw a lot of Vikings away there. He didn't need to do that, but still, he's got enough to deal with these BCs.
Yeah, and that's it. The BCs was the only thing that DeMusliM could kind of hold on to in this game. And now that they've gone, what is he going to try to do next? There's pretty much nothing he can do. He doesn't have the resources. 120 supply, only 200 minerals in the bank, and unfortunately for DeMusliM, he puts up a fantastic fight though against one of the best TVTers as mentioned in the world.
Yep.
And another nuke is going off into the main base. I don't even know what this is going to do. Kill a couple of SCVs mining gas, but at the same time, Ryung in a fantastic position. Look at his resources; they're incredibly high.
Nukes are just pretty. That's why he does it. That was just a show off. And honestly,
actually didn't even kill the other SCV. He was hiding in the refinery.
Refinery is the best place to go if attacked by nuclear bombs, apparently. That is an interesting decision.
I know. He's like, this refinery will go down. Even though it's out of gas anyway, it doesn't matter.
I didn't need that ghost.
Self-suicidal ghost, the reactor as well.
Those Marines are going to have a bad day in a second. Oh, my.
Oh, well.
This is not pretty, and DeMusliM has a very small force left. He doesn't have a lot of hope left in this matchup. He has come back from these awful disadvantages in this series, but I don't really know what he can do here. Everything he does gets shut down. The battle cruisers was the best hope that he had, and it simply did not happen. DeMusliM tries to transition back into simply bio and take advantage of the massive number of Vikings, but then you've got to realize what else Ryung has got at his disposal. Plenty of tanks, ghosts, nukes, all manner of unpleasant things.
Yeah, and DeMuslim's small force, it's at 2-2, the bio, and the +3 tanks are going to shred everything. And I really can't see this an out, I suppose you could say, for DeMusliM. The Vikings immediately sniping this down. DeMusliM goes for it. I don't think he can do it. And a nuke is going down as well. Probably kill all his Vikings. GG.
GG indeed. And honestly, I think this just sums up this entire series right here.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. DeMusliM down to the losers bracket, ladies.